Okay. Actually, this is not what I... Yes. Okay. Okay. I feel more comfortable clicking and dragging because it feels like a normal chess game to me, like holding the piece and dragging it around. But this thing, like I literally just clicked that, but it's not. It's the opening I'm not thinking so much. I should be thinking, let's see if my opponent plays like a Slav idea. I might go this way. Okay. And we have learned from our previous games, after he plays e6, the move is knight, right? I was thinking playing queen here is good, but it's not. Is it? Okay, now the bishop can't come out, right? The bishop can't come out. So this is completely, now this is completely fine because the bishop can't come out. And if the queen comes in here, we go for the queen side idea. Everything here so far seems straightforward. Maybe I should also still spend time to think, but I think this is just naturally what I'm without much of a thought in the opening. And it's just been the first 5 moves. If he takes, actually I haven't really met someone who takes, but it begins to resemble like some games I've seen people play. I don't know if the sacrifice is actually warranted. Okay, actually if he takes, I take. There's no reason to play b5 because you just get hit with this. I was thinking maybe I'll play take, and then take, and then if he blocks with the queen, then I can take here or something. Or if he blocks with the knight, I can. That is still 3 pawns. Actually, it's not. Yeah, so this is the other line that they do play. This normally is, I think, what the engine might recommend in some cases. But yeah, this is fine. So ideally what I try to do is, I know castling is important, but a lot of times I think you want to try and create something against this queen. And if it does work, it's very good. And another thing is, I don't really see how my opponent creates problems like for me in this position. So I mean, I could go knight here, like really, I could really go in for that. I could really jump in my knight to the e5 square if I would like to, but my plan currently is to go knight c3, rook to c1, bishop to e2, knight c3, then I castle. It's kind of where I want to go. So putting pressure on the central squares. Please don't do this to me, internet. It takes. If he takes here, that is just crazy. So he might take himself, allow this bishop back, and then maybe we spoil his structure this way. Okay, so we might get the pawn structure I've been learning, the Carlsbad. So if I take and he plays knight takes, and I play knight takes and he plays takes, maybe I could play like rook. Should I do it now or do I wait? Takes. Takes, I'm already in the Carlsbad structure. There's nothing much I should worry about there. Takes, knight takes, pawn takes, Carlsbad structure again, except right now. I want to see if he takes with the pawn. If he takes with the pawn, I'm completely fine. But I think he's going to take with the knight because it prevents me from placing my rook here. I could have... Oh, he doesn't. Okay. So now this is the Carlsbad pawn structure. One of the main ideas in this pawn structure is that white would like to use a minority attack to gain some sort of advantage. There's another way that white can play this, in that he goes for like central control, which is kind of like another idea that I do like. So maybe I should go for it, because the main idea is that white wants to get this, black wants to get this bishop here with a very strong king side attack. So this is this is my first time getting this structure, but this is my first time getting it after learning it, right? And it feels kind of like my queen is in the wrong position, but I have to deal with it because I'm putting pressure here. And any concession he makes, and any concession he makes, on his queen side, I think helps me in the sense that I have h4, h5, which I think is quite fine. So I'm looking at this because I actually threatened this, right? And my opponent has to make a move. So maybe he has to move his queen back, which is still fine because I gain some kind of tempo. If I'm looking at ideal conditions, I would like to push like my rook to b2 and all those kinds of moves, but you can see that that's not so possible here. So this is the move I'm looking for. I think I want to try the central attack. I'm very excited about this. You have no idea. I want to try the central attack system and see how that does for me. Like if his knight was here, it would make it difficult for me to play like these moves because yeah. So this just makes hints at him that I'm going to play knight takes, queen takes, pawn takes, and I take queen. And now I can take here and he's having a very bad day, you know. And now that the queen is here, bringing the bishop here to combat my structure is going to be pretty difficult. So normally what some of them do is they either push forward, which again I don't agree with. Some of them move their queen back. Again, not back, but like they bring the queen here. And you can see how like it makes this whole thing look, right? And now I have a simple two-move combo that helps me in this structure. So knight f3 to e5. Immediately my opponent is having a problem he has to deal with. Of course, I think after knight to f3, he's simply going to go like bishop to d3, d6 now. But I think with knight here, I think takes, and I think I'm in a very prime position to do lots of damage to my opponent. Right? So so far this position just looks good. I think with f3, you want to go knight here, right? I don't recall. This is me playing based on what trying to play based on what I've learned. Of course, there are stuff I generally do play, but I want to try and apply. Again, I want to go for this f3 move, but I don't like how my pieces look right now. Because if I go this way, he can play this, right? And there's possibly, like, he's not possibly going to do it now. Okay, but let's do it. I think I should have gone f3. I might not. I'm really lagging a lot today. Yeah, so I'm wondering if he's now going to immediately jump into this square. I mean, I might not even take, right? I might just, I mean, if he goes this way, I can just take here. If he takes, I'm still completely fine. I can play rook takes. Then I come in with bishop castles, and then rook comes in here, doubling up on this file. Then maybe I can remaneuver my queen to, let's say, another square, like back to d2, and then try and going for this queenside assault. The reason why I'm more drawn to f3 now, to make him more like make him have meaning, is simply because my queen is here, making it difficult for me to go for the queenside assault. So I feel like the only idea I can turn to is the f3 idea. Now I have played this f3 idea in the Jubava London, but the pawn structure is slightly different in that there's a c pawn still present. So bishop here is kind of fine, but here my queen is not here supporting the bishop, so there's a problem. And yeah, so this is actually a move. But the problem with this move is that you have this like long-term weakness on the c6, 7 square. And the point is you maneuver your knight into this square. That is sort of the idea that happens here. I'm very excited. You have, like, you guys may not have an idea how excited I am about this. I think I can take, actually. I'm not thinking much, but I just think I can take. And let's say he doesn't do anything about this. Now this standard idea you have in the Jubava London comes into play. And I mean, this is just a clear tactic. Pawn takes, bishop takes. And if you try and block with your knight, I still have takes. And you still have this issue. So he shouldn't take. He should just accept the loss of the pawn. But I don't think he can avoid this, losing this. His position is just collapsed at this point. And that is one of the weaknesses of this position for your opponent. So this is why I personally feel like you should just go for the combative structure. Again, this is winning for white in like it, like if you use the engine, you see that it's not that big of a deal, but it's the, I think this is the way you go. So after queen to b6, okay. Okay, so I can't actually come in this way. I could like play this, allow bishop takes, and then go knight takes, but I don't know if that nets me any sort of advantage. But if I leave my knight here, I know this is okay. It's not actually a scary threat. Yeah, I'd like to play check here, but as we can see, it doesn't work. Okay, so we just come back, I guess. It's a pawn, and my opponent has this eternal bad structure. And the way to combat this structure is to play this way, like knight here. And I'm also not scared of knight here, knight here. I'm not scared of this at all. Maybe my next move should be jumping in here. I think I should try and get castled before I get into any sort of trouble here. My opponent is not castled himself, which is why I feel more confident in like my moves. But yeah. I was thinking here takes. Just trade off my bad bishop for his good bishop and then go knight here. But I kind of want to... Actually, that's just a mistake. Yeah, actually, that's just a mistake. So I'll just take, trade, and have a simple position here. Because this is just a mistake. Yeah, it's not like I've missed... I don't want to allow the double... this kind of pawn structure. So I'll just take this way and then simply go take, right? No biggie. Of course, he has rook here. I don't really care because I can just come back. Or I can even just offer a trade of queens, which makes my position much easier to play. Yeah, my bishop was doing a good job of stopping this. I agree highly. But I think getting a free piece is also one of the best things I can do in this position. Maybe I get my queen back. I don't think my queen is doing anything on that side of the board anymore. Yeah, just get my queen back, preparing for any of these rook assaults on my queen side. Now I can castle. I'm a piece and a pawn up. This is good. I still have to be careful. Again, to control this pawn structure, the best way is to play knight here. And again, I know this because I learned it from John Bartholomew. Was it John Bartholomew? No, Ginger GM, Simon Williams. Placing your knight on a4 when your opponent has this kind of backward pawn structure is usually quite a nice idea. Okay, so pawn push here. Now I can go in this way and not worry so much about my position. I'm disconnecting quite a bit, and that is quite annoying. I don't know. I might have to stop the stream and come back later in the day because this is not helping. Yeah, so like I was saying, my plan here is to simply just castle and save myself. Now my opponent is going to go aggressive. Remember, don't forget, the knight wants to come in here and he wants a aggressive kingside attack. So maybe he's looking at, for example, like knight here. If knight takes, then bishop takes. Or regardless, he goes like rook comes in, and the point is to transfer everything to the kingside and give me problems on that side of the board. So I still do, like I said, have to be cautious. That's kind of another reason why it's a good thing I'm noticing that might actually slow down my idea of going knight here to try and control the structure. So I think I would go bishop here. That's my good bishop. I agree. But I want to trade off material. The more material that comes off the board, the easier it is for me to defend this position and to easily go for a winning position. Like I said, knight coming in here is the problem. Again, it doesn't work. There are some tricks here, but I don't think it works due to how everything is going. So for example, like after he plays pawn takes or bishop takes, I have like knight here kind of blocking out the queen with the follow-up move of this. So even if the queen tries to hang out on this, it kind of creates a problem for him. And if I bring my knight in here, it kind of holds this side out. So there's a possibility that he might sacrifice. Okay, he doesn't do that. Okay, so we have this. The queen might want to come in here with the rook coming in here. And again, I'm thinking that if he wants to establish the queen on this square so he can get his bishop here, he might have to sacrifice the exchange with his rook. But that's going overly aggressive, which I don't think works, right? Again, I can bring my bishop back to help in the defense of the position. I feel completely safe. All I would prefer is to like just have it. I mean, I think maybe I rushed a little bit with the knight move. It kind of blocks out my opponent, which is why I like it, and also introduces more pieces to create problems for my opponent, especially even on the back rank, right? But I think possibly the best, yeah, so this is what I was expecting, and I thought I could just simply attack the queen, because once I attack the queen would have have a hard time like holding the position. So like I said, bishop here would have possibly been the best move to play. And again, the queen would want to rest on one of these squares, but it can't do that, so she has to go like, which is not possible, so all the way here to try and hold the position. In which case, you already see that I have problems I can pose. I have the simple. I can actually give that to him, but now the queen is far away, and if you want to take these 2 pawns, that's good, because now I play this move, you play this back, I play takes, you take, and now I just simply plant my rook here, and you have to deal with this some way somehow, right? You just have to deal with this some way somehow. Yeah, I think this is it. Maybe I don't even need to do that. Maybe I can just like, after bishop goes back, I play rook takes, because after pawn takes, and I have check. I think that's a little bit too far-fetched. If maybe I could have captured the rook afterwards, then I would have accepted that idea. But now this is hanging, this is hanging, this is hanging. So possibly he's going to play this way. Oh wait, if the bishop comes in here, can't I just play this? Can't I just play like rook here? I feel there should be something here. Give me a second. Sacrifice the rook, pawn takes, king comes in, check, queen comes in, check. What is there? But do I want to allow my opponent to get these pawns? Wait. Bishop here. Let's say bishop takes. No, bishop here, rook takes, bishop takes, queen comes in, check. Yeah, queen comes in, check, king comes here, then I just have this. So if I can remove the rook from the back rank, I think I'm fine. So check here. If bishop takes. Oh, no. No, it works. So check here. If bishop takes, check, king comes back, check, queen comes in with blocks, takes with checkmate. So that is it. So check here. If rook takes, bishop takes, if queen takes here, that's a fair trade. Whoa, what's up? So let's go with the forcing move here. Boom. I just think this finishes the game for me. Because once he plays bishop takes, it's game over. He plays rook takes, bishop takes. He can't take again, because again, game over. So he has to do something else, and that becomes just a fair trade. Yeah, I think this just finishes the game for me. Yeah, and if he gets greedy and comes in here, that also just finishes the game for me, because I have takes, pawn takes, check, king comes in here, checkmate. Yeah, he has a lot of back rank weaknesses. Yeah, so I went with the checking move because that is the most forcing move. So Nifacha, nice to see you.
Yeah, I'm laughing because I don't understand how the place got. I went here for 3 months. I came back. I can't find me. Ow.
So you guys have no idea how enthused I am about this, right? It's like everything just went my way. Yeah, so he didn't. Unless of course I miscalculated, I think I'm completely winning here because the king cannot defend the queen. Yes, and the queen cannot defend. You can block with your queen, but this is just over. Over red rover, said Magnus Carlsen, right over. And this is GG. Don't you just love it when a plan comes together? Excellent. So landing system, as always, I just learned the structure because I realized I meet it quite a bit. Not often, very rarely, but quite a bit. And it's kind of drawing me towards the Queen's Gambit decline, but I'm not really going there. I still love my London system. So normally in the London system, I learned this later down the line. Usually when my opponent would play this, I would just go for this line, which I still do enjoy playing. It gives me this very strong central structure, and of course my opponent can still go this whole Carlsbad structure with this e-pawn, which further supports like preventing my opponent from getting to e4, which I think is a nice one. So yeah, this is the move, and I learned like sometimes I would play this, then my opponent would play this, and I would play queen to b4, and I realized that's actually not good. It's fine, but it gives black some sort of like equality, and he solved the position easily. So when he plays this, I can play the queen to b3 because the bishop does not cannot come out there and create problems for me as well. And there are two things you can do here, right? You can take, which I don't support. You can what's the other one? You can bring your bishop back, which again looks awkward, and then you can bring your queen here, which kind of looks passive, right? So mostly the best move I feel like is to play here, and after this, black is usually having a better position here. Like this queen side attack, I oftentimes win this. I don't know if I can check that for you, but I oftentimes win this kind of position whenever I get it. So it's understandable why my opponent would not want to go into this line. Perfect sense, like makes perfect sense for me. So he went here, which is another line that people normally do play. But knight to c3, and then after takes. Actually, takes is not even necessary here. I could have continued my development here. After this, I could have continued by playing rook, but I was a little bit worried that by playing rook here, he would bring the queen here, and the takes would take a different form, right? It would take a different form, and I wouldn't get the Carlsbad structure I'm looking for. Again, of course, this is the blunder it's looking at. Again, sorry. But yeah, that's kind of like where my mind was at. So I wanted to kind of force him to trade first, get the pawn out of my line first, to see what he would do. Because if you play this, I'm already in the structure I'm looking for. I go here. If you go knight takes, I can go knight takes, and a little bit worried, but more or less you're going to play this, and I'm still in the structure that I've been learning. And this time it's easier to go for my queenside assault with b4, b4, a4. Basically what I was looking at. So after takes, he leaves the queen there, allowing this, and now the queen has to move, because now you are facing the trouble of, let's say you just play something like bishop here. You have knight takes, and if you play knight takes, I'm going to play queen takes. And after takes here, oh, actually there's a bishop check. That's what spoils everything. But if there wasn't a bishop check, you can understand how this goes. Okay, so that is another thing I was looking at. So yeah, so that's basically the kind of threat I was looking at. So he stops that, then I go for the trade, and rook comes in here, then the queen leaves that side, but still watching over this pawn. Right, that's why my queen is there. It keeps putting pressure on this pawn. Now I have a target, so I'm going to develop with tempo. 9 comes in here. If he doesn't like that, he'll have to move his queen again. So then after 9 comes in here, there's another attack on the queen. So kind of like developing with tempo. So this is a move. Again, this is a move, and the point is to create a very strong, solid structure for the knight. I don't remember which knight though. I don't know if it's this, but it's a very strong outpost for the knight. But again, it's always been mentioned, this is going to be a very big weakness. That was not really the case in this line. Here he wasn't seeing the board geographically, right? This is a positional error because everything falls, right? So knight takes, and if you play pawn takes, I go bishop takes, and you might say, okay, the knight blocks. No, the knight does not block, because a queen takes, then you have rook takes, and this is just completely winning. So yeah, not so straightforward. And it's amazing. Actually, I'm very shocked I saw this. Like, I saw this instantly, right? That was very interesting for me. I didn't think I would see such a tactic so instantly. Knight here would not have worked, right? It just wouldn't have. So takes, and then he retreats. I come back here, and it's like now he's on autopilot mode. He misses this. But I could have just taken this, and if takes here, but I don't like this pawn structure for myself. And again, it's a double-edged thing, right? If I take and you want to save your knight, I still get a free piece, don't I? So there's no rush in taking the knight, and the knight cannot really do any attack that stresses me out. So you take first, and then you come in here, castles, and then queen goes back. Maybe queen goes back is a little bit slow, but I just didn't want him to get like a tempo attack on me. So for example, after castles here, I didn't want to play like let's say castles myself, and after rook here, then I'm going to go here. I feel like giving him this, I don't like. Again, I am fine, but I don't want to give him. That's basically the whole basis of me playing in this way. I just don't want to give that to him. So I decide to move on my own, so that if he comes in here, then I have this defensive maneuver, which you saw. Then the rook comes in here, putting pressure on my king. Castle out of danger. Knight comes in where it's supposed to be. Takes, and I was expecting like pawn takes here, but again I can see this isolated structure here. So it's not isolated, but this isolated pawn structure here, he has very weakened pawns. This position is completely winning. I would jump in here as I did in the game, and it would be harder for him to coordinate an attack against me. So that is what I think he considered, which is why he went with rook takes, which is also not like far-fetched. It's quite part of the plan. I was kind of also thinking that after knight takes, he would play bishop takes, because if I would jump in here, then he has an immediate threat here, until I realized that okay, my knight actually defends the position. So I was so like I was very interested. Yeah, so takes here. Then the rook comes in. So I'm expecting him to go all out, right? He wants to go all out on me. I went this way. That is the whole reason, the whole second reason why I brought my knight in there, to create this. So now I cover all these squares. You can't do anything about it. Your queen has to go back, but he decides to go forward. The reason why this whole checkmating sequence worked was because my opponent decided to go forward instead of going back, right? If he went back, that would have been excellent, right? If he went back, that would have been excellent. Again, I still have an attack burn, but I don't have a checkmate in so quick like a time, and there are more pieces on the board. But he goes in this way, which makes it easier for me to start something, right? So here I'm already targeting this, I'm targeting this. You have two weaknesses. You are most likely going to defend the two weaknesses, right? Because all my calculations had to do with this line. I was thinking about sacrifices left and right. But here I decided to think a little bit. I don't think it was a confirmed me. Looking at the engine now, so was this bad? But it was not bad. But why isn't it a confirmed checkmate? Because he played this and is now confirmed. So let's say he played like rook takes, then bishop takes is not confirmed. Yes, bishop takes is not confirmed. He gets the chance to come back, but like I was saying, I still trade off, and even if we get these trades going, this is just completely fine for me, right? King comes in here, and now I can deal with this whole position. His rook is in the wrong side of the board. He would have to come back, and that's like 1, 2, and you are really going to struggle to get this rook back into the action. So I'm completely fine here. I'm really completely fine here. So it's like I'm playing with two pieces and he's playing with pawns, because this rook is absolutely useless. Absolutely. Okay. Yeah, so let's get back to the natural lines. And yeah, this game became pretty straightforward. It became pretty straightforward, especially after my opponent blundered the pawn push. It became pretty straightforward. Very like straightforward here. Right. And yeah, so maybe even here I could have gone for F. I'm not so sure though. I'm guessing that I could have gone for F here. Sometimes the approach with the bishop, I think you can take or you can play pawn push. I think I can take queen. No, that's a free pick. Okay, so that's not done. So here, then the idea is to go e4, but you really have to prepare e4 and make sure you are completely fine with playing this move. So you really do have to prepare it before you can play it. And again, I was saying this structure resembles something I've seen before, which is in the Jobava London system, right? Here, d4, d, bishop, here, let's say e6 here, knight here, and then here. So it kind of resembles the structure, and like I said, the difference that I see in this structure is the fact that I can play this without my queen being here, because after takes, of course I want to take with my queen, but if my queen is, for example, hanging out here, which it can't at this point in time, the point is I have the alternative of playing this with a very strong central control, like I said. So that is basically kind of like what I was alluding to when I mentioned this line. But this game was smooth. This game was smooth. Everything here is fine. My opponent played very well until he played the unfortunate c b5. He did extremely well until he played b5. From b5, I think everything collapsed. Again, I should still be precise because that's just a single pawn. Again, the problem is not just because it's a single pawn. The problem is because now your pawn structure is very bad. And I have all the necessary pressure on the queen side to make use of those weaknesses in the near future. So that is why it's completely bad by the engine's estimation, right? So that is kind of like what I was looking at. Yeah, so I'm very happy I saw this move. And secondly, I'm also very happy I got this structure, which I've been looking